Are you in one of those really difficult places of your life right now? You know, those places of your life where you got to make a really hard decision. Do I rent that house? Do I go back to school? Do I date that guy? Do I marry that woman? Should I take this job? Should I quit this job? And so much is on the line. And so you got to make the right decision, and you don't want to get out of the will of God. I've been right there too, and I know what that feels like. So I want to share a couple of things that I think might just help you to make the right decision. And if nothing else, help you survive this season of uncertainty that you're going through right now. If you've ever financed a house, a phone, a car, or most anything, what I'm about to share with you is going to most likely make a lot of sense. And it's something that came to me recently, and it was like a revelation about decision making that I felt like was valuable, not just to me, but to other people, the people that I pastor, the people that follow our ministry. And I wanted to take some time and share that with you. And that came about because we were looking at the possibility of buying or financing a new car. And that's something that I try to steer away from. But once your car starts getting older, outdated, there's certain things that start going wrong with it. It's obviously something to really take into consideration. Do I want to get rid of this car? Will this car that I got now, will it have issues? You know, lots of things like that. But what prompted me was I had talked to a car dealership, and I did like a lot of other people. You know, I look at the car and I see, man, it's got like new stuff, and whether it's your job or whether it's a relationship or some other thing, we start thinking about all the exciting stuff. You know how a car smells new, you know, the new car smell, or the new tires, the interior is pristine or clean, the outside, the body's not dented or scratched, or, you know, just certain things that really get your attention, to get you to thinking why you would really want this car. And you know, it draws attention. People say, oh, he's got a real nice car, he got a new car, she got a new car, or oh, look, they got a new house, you know, all those kinds of things. And there's excitement that comes with getting something new. But the problem is that sometimes, especially in our spiritual immaturity of decision making, we can easily get distracted by the excitement of new and forget so many other aspects. So over the process of a couple of days, I think the revelation kind of unfolded to me when I started thinking about the payments. You know, I try to stay away from payments whenever I can, but I started thinking about the payments. And if you'll just hear me out and think about what I'm about to say, because to me, it was deep on a whole nother level, because the payments are that burden that we're going to have that every month. It's insane to me to think that people are paying now for 6 years on a vehicle. Back in the day, it seemed like people just, 2 or 3 years, and it might be $200, $300, $400 a month car payment. But I know people that are paying $700 and $800 a month for 6 years, 7 years. That's just insane to me. But I started thinking about the payments, that every month payment, and whether it's $400 a month, $500 a month, the burden of every month payment is something that can be forgotten when you're starting to think about all the excitement of what's brand new. And so this is what I wanted to share with you, and basically the crux of this revelation that I feel like that God brought to me. I'm going to call those payments baggage. And let's take that same analogy and let's apply that for just a moment to that new job that you're thinking about. Or maybe you're thinking about quitting a job, or maybe you're in a relationship and there's some problems and you're feeling like you're wanting to get out. You know, any variety of different situations or scenarios that you can apply this to. You may be thinking about the excitement of getting out or buying something new. But in the process of that, don't forget about that baggage or the payments. Don't forget about the burden and the excitement that comes with it. I want to share a little example of what I mean by this, and from a pastoral view. This is just my little crazy example. But through the years of pastoring, when I first started pastoring, I was thinking, when somebody would come along and they had maybe great talent, maybe they played the bass, or maybe they were a great drum player or piano player or something like that. When they first come along, you're thinking, oh, the excitement, man, you know, this would be such an asset to our church. And so you would be quick to think about all of that, but not think about the fact that when that new person comes, that maybe they don't belong at that church, maybe they shouldn't be at that church, maybe the will of God for them is to be somewhere else. And what you're doing is you're thinking about all the excitement of what you might receive out of it, or what might come from it, or the asset part of it, and you're not thinking about the baggage. And no disrespect to any people out there that may be watching this, and some pastors will know exactly what I mean by my little crazy example, but there are some people, they got so much baggage, that monthly payment that comes along, that little bit of guitar playing, or that little bit of singing, or that little bit of drum playing, or whatever that they do, it's just not worth it. It really isn't. You know, you may be so desperate right now because you're lonely. Oh, I just need Harry, or I need Fred in my life, or I need Johnny in my life, or whatever. Oh, I just need a Sally or Susie. But you got to be very, very cautious and very careful that you don't mess up and forget about the excess baggage that comes, those payments after the fact. Because when the newness wears off, that's what you're going to be left with, the payments. And so if this revelation didn't come to you for any other reason today, hopefully it comes for the purpose to remind you that everything that glitters is not gold. And sometimes it is necessary, and sometimes it is valuable. To give you an example, let's just say that, hindsight looking back, that my vehicle the engine were to completely go out of the vehicle that I have now. Well, I have no way of knowing that in the near future, but just say the engine and the transmission of my car went out and it was a total loss. Well, in that situation, I would have been better off, and sometimes those payments are worth it. Sometimes it is worth it to get your family out of a situation. Sometimes it is worth it for you to get out of that toxic job environment. Sometimes it is worth it. So I'm not just saying not to pull the trigger and do the thing that you may be thinking about, but what I'm telling you today is to use some wisdom and don't forget about the payments. This is coming from somebody, I know that I'm not 70 or 80 years old, but I'm 48. I'll be 49 here in this coming October. I've lived through life. I've faced a lot of stuff. I've counseled with a lot of people as a pastor, and I can tell you with an assurance that one of the big things that people forget is they forget about the baggage. They forget about the payments. So if you're listening today, please, whatever you do, don't forget about the payments. And if this video in any way, shape, or form was a blessing to you, or you know somebody going through a valley of uncertainty and decision, share it with them. Give them something to think about. Because believe it or not, sometimes the devil, he'll bring you into God's orchard. He'll show you the trees, and he'll show you the apples and the oranges and the pears. And the one tree that God doesn't want you to fool with will be the one he'll show you. That's not always the case. Sometimes you do need to make decisions and move on. Sometimes you do need to transition into other places of your life. Just whatever you do, don't forget about the baggage and the payments. May the Lord bless you.